Joey Logano surrendering 11th to Jimmy Johnson. Krista, Jimmy doesn't sound happy.
I know you wouldn't know it by the fact that he's moving up and gaining positions, but he said his car is evil going into the turns. The car is driving me, he says, more than I'm driving it.
He started 20th and only has 3 victories when starting 20th or worse, but one of those came here in 2007 when he started the race from 23rd.
You know, that 20 car looks pretty good, but there's Mark Martin and Joey are having a pretty good little battle here.
Yeah, Mark fell back when the race started. It's almost like he was just trying to sort things out and kind of get a feel for what he had with his car. But I just saw the evil that Krista was describing with that 48 car off turn 4. But Krista was telling me during commercial break, Chad is doing a little bit of a sales pitch, just telling him to sit tight, we'll get it adjusted, and I would be willing to bet he will.
Yeah, the car's not very good, and he's sitting there running 11th, so he'll be okay.
Well, Jeff Gordon has already put 10 cars a lap down, plus Eric Almirola, who was in the garage, and now Michael McDowell has gone to the garage as well, leaving us 41 cars on track.
You know, as hot and slick as this track is, we've seen the pace now that we're almost 40 laps into this race, you know, slow down by second and a half, second and 3/4, and we're pushing toward about 12 to 14 laps before green flag pit stops. When there's that much fall off, I think we'll see a very small window of laps that everybody hits pit road if we indeed get to those green flag stops. You can't afford to give up that kind of time.
In practice, we were seeing cars consistently run in the 29-second bracket. The last lap for the 24 car, 31.27.
Trouble for Bobby Labonte. The smell of oil on the back straightaway, and he has eased his Chevrolet.
I smelled grease about 2 laps ago.
Down to the track apron and headed toward pit road. We stay green.
Rear end. Sounds like a gear problem.
If you can smell it like that, that's normally what it is.
It's the worst smell in racing.
Travis Kvapil goes a lap down. The Long John Silver car. Next week, one of NASCAR's fastest tracks. Cobalt Tools 500 at Atlanta, noon on Fox.
Hey, you take a 1.5 mile racetrack, you put Daytona type banking in it, that's what you get right there.
Montoya and Kenseth fighting for 9th here. Not much of a fight.
No, that's the 17 car is really good. He's been slowly marching his way up through the field, and there's his teammate. All the Roush cars right now look pretty sporty.
That'll be for 4th place, past pole sitter Kurt Busch. And shouldn't be too long. We'll see who starts the march onto pit road for fuel and tires.
One thing I just noticed, Larry, is that we've panned by that 2 car. That left front wheel is covered up with brake dust.
Well, and
a lot of brake.
The worse your car drives, the more brake you're going to use. And we've seen that at the 1.5 mile racetracks a lot since we've been racing this car.
Yeah, 43 laps in, that's a lot of dust.
Matt, how about our pole sitter?
And Mike, they're already formulating their game plan for their first stop, scheduled to be around lap 50 here on pit road. They've got the very first pit stall, which is right down in turn 1. Air pressure change is what they're looking at right now. Also talking about a couple other changes to try to get the balance a little more toward what he needs. Just way too tight and free on exit, big time.
Yeah, you can see he cannot get off the corner at all. You can see it very tail happy on the exit. That just kills the straightaway speed.
1 caution flag early for Kevin Conway's spin in turn 2 at lap 3. Otherwise green all the way to what should be the first round of pit stops.
Oh, Jeff Gordon, he's going to put some cars a lap down here if we don't something doesn't happen pretty soon. Good cars, I'm talking.
27 cars on the lead lap. We'll take a quick.
Got one in the wall.
Car in the wall, turn 2. And that'll be Mike Bliss.
Pretty good lick there.
Caution is out for the 2nd time today. Mike Bliss is okay, but that Tommy Baldwin car has hit it pretty hard.
And Mike had a great run last week at Auto Club Speedway. The best finish and best qualifying effort Tommy Baldwin Racing has had.
We'll take a look at this, but it wouldn't surprise me to see something happen to the right front tire because the car just looked like it shot up the hill.
He was running 32nd, 1 lap down. Watch the pink car.
Shouldn't be hard to find.
See Sam Hornish there lined up for the free pass. He was the 77 was the first car 1 lap down. He had just been lapped by Jeff Gordon.
And that's surprising because Sam qualified well, he practiced well, and here already finds himself a lap down.
But you were right, Darrell. That caution came just right for some guys like Denny Hamlin, Casey Kane, Martin Truex Jr. They were right on the verge of going a lap down.
Jeff was after him.
Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the Sprint Cup Series. Biggest mover so far, up 17 positions, Kevin Harvick. Check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Pit road's open, and it's going to be a busy place. Dick Bergman.
Well, Kyle Busch is going to pit in the 2nd position, Mike. They really took some gambles this morning, changed some springs just before the start of the race, trying to figure out what the weather was going to do to their race car. Right behind him, the 16 of Greg Biffle. He had been running in the 3rd position. Both cars running a bit loose. Steve.
Well, Dick, Jeff Gordon's going to get a small track bar adjustment. He wants to feel that rear end of the track. A little more security for Jeff Gordon. 4 tires. Matt?
And the pole sitter Kurt Busch is in. They're going to go with a track bar adjustment. You can see the wrench in the back window. About a round also, Steve Eddington called for an air pressure change on both right side tires to try to get the car a little more back to the balance that they had expected. He's away.
One thing that'll be consistent is that right there. 4 tires for everybody.
Pretty crazy on pit road, too.
Yes, it was.
Second caution of the day comes at lap 47 in Las Vegas. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Jeff Gordon has led every one of 49 laps. One more circuit. He'll tie the record for the most laps led from the opening green. Now, it's hot and sunny today, something it hasn't been all week. Here's Jimmy Johnson exiting his pit.
Watch this.
Oops. And Matt Kenseth told his crew after this happened.
I couldn't get out of there. I don't know if our stall's different than anybody else's, but pretty slick.
Good job, guys.
And it's not. It's hot, it's slick, and Dick Bergman was telling us during the break that these are concrete pit stalls, and they're smooth concrete. And I know a lot of the teams, you can't use chemicals, but you can take things like Coca-Cola and put it on the pits for traction for the crew members and trying to also create traction for the car leaving.
David Gilliland too fast on pit road, and Paul Menard left the pit missing a lug nut, so they both came back in for penalty stops. You saw Mike Bliss's car towed off of the turn 2 banking and into the garage. Now the wave around car will be A.J. Allmendinger. He chose not to pit, so he was in front of Jeff Gordon but behind the pace car, so he has the election of not stopping in his pit but holding that position, and with 1 to go get waved around to get his lap back.
Yeah, it pitted at lap 27. You just saw one of Kurt Busch's crew members putting soft drink down on the pits for traction.
It's the real thing.
That's it.
The talent competition so wild it could only happen trackside is Fast Track to Fame. Juggling chainsaws? America's most unique performers cut loose each week for their chance of stardom. Catch Fast Track to Fame premiering tomorrow only on Speed. Check local listings for the start time in your area. We are 50 laps in to the Shelby American, a 400-mile race at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Jeff Gordon from the outside pole in his Hendrick Chevrolet has led every lap. Kurt Busch started on the pole for Roger Penske, but he now lines up 5th after the first round of pit stops of the day. That came during a caution flag for Mike Bliss's crash at turn 2.
Now, that pit stop and getting the cars adjusted for the track conditions, we should see these cars running much closer together than what we saw in the start of the race.
This race is named for Carroll Shelby, whose car modifying and building factory is right outside turn number 1 here. Last year we got to sit down and talk with old Shell, and this year he invited me to go for a ride in his newest creation.
Thanks for everything you did. How are you? I'm good. You have got to drive this car. What'd you think? It's awesome.
I haven't seen you since Jackson.
I know, since last month. We'll be back in a minute. There is a speed limit on pit road. Yeah, I think we just broke it.
Give me 4 tires, Sunoco race fuel. We're going again. Oh, Carol, what a treat.
Thank you again.
What a great treat.
Always good to be with you.
Carroll turned 87 last month, and he's still dreaming up new things, building new cars. They revived the most famous performance icon name of the 60s, the GT350. You order a brand new 2011 Mustang GT from your Ford dealer. They send it to Shelby, who massage it and put a whole lot of Ford racing parts underneath, and you end up with this white with blue striped, or vice versa, 500 horsepower missile.